Okay, good morning. So today is January 2024, and I'm going to review the syllabus for Sociology 368, Section 43. Oh, and also sorry for the echo because I'm doing it in my office and there's like nothing in here other than the desk and computer. Okay. But first, I'm going to go over the demographic information and just go through the content afterwards. Okay, so the demographic information is that the class is for spring 2024, and the section number is 23965. It's a 3-unit class. It's online, and this is an asynchronous class. Um, my email address is here, but when you send me an email, please give me about 24 to 48 hours to respond. And if I don't respond within those 48 hours or so, send me another email as a reminder to cue me to check your initial email that you sent me, and I will do it like as soon as I read that follow-up email. Okay. um, my office is in the social behavioral sciences, or SBS, and it's in room B325. So when you come up when you come up the stairs, it's going to be, as you're facing the elevator, you get to the third floor, is to your right, and it's going to be the first door after the hallway on your left. But I'll have my door open during those office during the between 10 o'clock and 1 o'clock in the afternoon. If you're not able to make it at that time, we can set up an appointment. We could either do it face to face or we could do it Zoom. You just let me know which modality that you feel comfortable in having the appointment. Okay. So this is the overview of the class. So this course will approach the issue of crime as a consequence of living in a modern society. This course will examine the construction and analysis of deviance, crime, delinquency, victimization, the criminal justice system, forms of social control, and terrorism, or call it political violence. Sorry about the texts and all that. Okay, and there will be a critical view of the sociological explanations of the cause of the crime and understanding of criminality, and a look at the biological and psychological perspectives of crime or criminality. The purpose of this course is to develop an understanding of how crime impacts society and the response society has to crime. So for example, students will develop skills to differentiate between the different theoretical traditions and perspectives within criminology. So, for example, you'll be looking at like the classical theories of criminology, or looking at conflict theory and criminology, or the explanation of criminology, or rational choice, or any other type of theoretical perspective to have it to provide us a general understanding of why crime happens in society. Okay. And the second point you're also going to go through, or learn throughout the course for this semester, is that students will develop a historical, social, economic, and political awareness of the forces social thinkers wrestled with, understanding the relationship between society and crime. So, for example, one of the issues or you're gonna read, and I'm gonna be posting. Um, excuse me. Is understanding not only why crime happens, but what are the impacts that crime has had on society. So, for example, I think that his name is Peter Simon, and he's one of the readings, and the book that I'm having you read from him is called "Governing Through Crime." And what his thesis is that when you look at the political system, like the state legislature, who make laws and pass laws, and then even the judicial system, they have a certain perspective in terms of how they understand crime as something that is very pervasive, and it creates what another person you're going to read in the class. His name is Stanley Cohen. with the idea or understanding his idea of the moral panic, and how the moral panic is used to create fear of crime in society in order to pass certain laws and legislation by state legislatures, right? Um, Oh, I'm trying to remember or recall a more a recent one, but for example, like in the 1990s, there was this whole thing about predators who are kids, right? And I'm not sure if you're aware of Time Magazine, and they had a few cover stories in Time Magazine about your child may be killing you in your sleep. You know, sort of creating that moral panic in order to demand harsher punishment or laws that will instill harsher punishments for people who violate the general moral sentiment or who break the laws. Okay, so like that's the second point, and then the third point is that students will demonstrate their ability to conduct a research project grounded in a criminological tradition to analyze society and the experience of crime. So what that means is that you're going to write a research paper for me where you're going to study some aspect of crime and society. Right, as we get closer to that assignment, I'll start having you think about what type of paper you're going to write, and I will also be posting videos and examples of how to go about doing that. Okay, so like that's pretty much like the overall goals or the objectives for the course for this semester. Now, these are the requirements that are necessary to be able to successfully complete this course. The first one is attendance. And as I mentioned in Canvas last week, because of the strike, I'm going to be posting like some questions or weekly questions, and that's how I'm going to take roll for that particular week. So the way that I'm going to approach this is that Monday is going to be considered the first day of the week. All right, where I'm going to try to post all the postings by either Sunday, sometime Sunday, or by Monday. Okay, and then you will have until Sunday to be able to complete the questions, and then that's how I will be taking roll. Okay, yeah, so like that's for the role. And then the second thing that you're going to do is like around the sixth week of the semester, you're going to do a midterm, but this is not going to be like a heavy midterm. I'm going to sort of give you an idea of what the midterm is going to consist of, maybe 2 weeks or so before you have the actual midterm. And then it's going to be on Canvas, and you're going to have like that week to be able to complete the midterm. So then, but just to sort of let you know now, once you start the midterm on Canvas, you will not be able to stop and save. So once you start, you have to sort of go through the whole midterm once you start it. But I'll go through this whole thing again when I post the midterm and the guidelines for the midterm on Canvas. Okay. And what you're also going to do for me is you're going to write 4 written assignments. All right. So I'm going to sort of tell you what those written assignments are right now. Now, the first written assignment, which is assignment 1, is just going to ask you about what is your understanding about criminology and how crime impacts society. So for this particular essay, there's actually no right or wrong answer. This is more you just writing or answering like these questions to be able to write a 4 to 5 page paper explaining your understanding of criminology and deviance and whatnot. Okay, so that's for assignment 1. Assignment 2, 3, and 4 are going to be used to help you write a 10 to 15 page paper, which you will see that it's noted here on item number 6. All right. Um, from what I remember when I was an undergrad, when I first started how to write more extensive papers, I would get a little nervous and anxious about writing an extensive paper, right? But I'm so, but for sorry, For each assignment, I will provide a handout as well as a video explaining the handout as well as showing you how to put the essays together. All right. And then towards the end of the semester, I'm going to have a video, a YouTube video, showing you how to start putting the 10 to 15 page paper together. All right. Before the end of the semester. Okay. So then those are the four written assignments. Oh, but before I forget, I'll explain what the other assignments are. So assignment two, for example, is the research proposal. So for this one, you're just going to write a 4 to 5 page essay explaining what your topic is going to be. And as I mentioned previously, I'm going to provide a handout for that as well as a YouTube video. Assignment three is an annotated bibliography where you're going to look for 4 or 5 articles or a text or some text that relates to your topic that you wrote in assignment two, which is the research proposal. And then assignment four is actually the rough draft. So where you're sort of writing out the final paper and then submit it to me for review before you submit it for the final submission at the end of the semester. So hopefully that makes sense. But that's sort of the idea of the four written assignments. Okay. And then you're gonna also have the video critique. The video critique could be something like a either a YouTube video or maybe even like some type of like documentary that you're going to watch, and then you're going to write a response or critique of the video using course readings to analyze and critique the video. Okay, and you're going to have like a few weeks to be able to do that assignment. Okay. Um, and then also you're going to have discussion boards. And the discussion boards are going to function as a means of carrying on certain conversations. And what I usually tend to do with the discussion boards is that because I read a lot of different newspapers, I may come across or I will come across a news story that will relate to the theme of the class. So then I'll use that news story as the topic for that discussion board, and then everyone in the class is going to participate. And I will explain what the participation is going to look like and what it should sound like with an example. Okay. So then that's for like the discussion board. And then, of course, as I mentioned previously, you're going to have to do a 10 to 10, 15 page term paper relating to a theme on criminology. And then the last thing that you're going to do is a presentation of your research project. And for this, what you're going to do is you're just going to record yourself explaining what your research topic is about. And I will provide you with the rubric on how to go about doing the recording on your research presentation. Okay. So like these are like the 7 items that you're going to do for me for the course of the semester in terms of how I'm going to evaluate your performance side of the syllabus. Okay, so the book the book that you have to get for the course is by Michel Foucault and it's called Discipline and Punishment. So I did order the book for the bookstore for you to purchase. However, I also wanted to let you know you don't necessarily need to purchase the book because I was able to find a PDF of the entire book, and I will post that onto Canvas. All right, so you don't really need to purchase the book if you want to save yourself some money this semester. All right. And I'm also going to post like the other readings on Canvas, a Canvas per the week of the readings that we go through throughout the semester. Okay. And then this is also what I just mentioned, a summary of the things that I mentioned about like the written assignments, the video critiques, the discussion board, the midterm, the final paper, and then the student learning outcome is that a student will be able to evaluate the effectiveness of sociological theories in explaining criminal or deviant behavior. Okay. Now, this is going to be the breakdown of the assignments. Okay. So your final grade, oh, sorry for the typo, that should read 7 assignments. I'll fix that. So again, no, it's going to be based off of attendance, which I mentioned earlier, is just by you being able to do like those small essay responses is how I'm going to be taking roll, and you don't have to complete that until Sunday evening of that week. Okay. And then you're gonna have the four written assignments. Then you have the one midterm. Then you're gonna have like two discussion boards, two video critiques, and a 10 to 15 page paper, and presenting your research paper, which is going to be a recording. So when you look at all the assignments and you see the scores, so then you're going to be working towards a 3,000 points towards the end of the semester. All right. Just to sort of let everyone know right now, everyone who starts the class with me has already started with an A. All right. So pretty much you already have like the 3,000 points, but then as the assignments go, the way that I evaluate the essays, and I will provide a handout on how I evaluate the essays, start sort of like deducting points and sort of figuring out like the grades and all that based on the scores. Okay. And then here I also provided a table of the raw scores going from 3,000 points to an A all the way down to 1,700 points. Sorry about that. To a fail. All right. Just to sort of let you know now, I don't like failing students, but if a student gives me an argument to fail them, I will oblige them. And I know this is going to sound cruel, but I will oblige and I will not lose any sleep over it. Okay. And this is an argument to fail the class. Don't consistently like do the assignments, don't consistently do the attendance or anything else. Is an argument that's telling me that that particular student is not interested in the course. So then, why should I, as the instructor, care for that student if they're not caring for the class for themselves? Right. But before I do come to that conclusion, I will reach out to the student and find out what is happening with the student if I notice an issue happening. Okay. But that's like the only real scenario that I do fail students. Okay. But if you have any questions in terms of the breakdown, please send me an email or stop by my office hours if you have any further points of clarification. All right. So then this is sort of like how I envision how I'm going to be taking role. So attendance is defined for this online course as signing onto Canvas and remaining logged in for about 30 minutes. And it would take about 30 minutes or so to just answer the question towards the end of the week. Okay. And I also explained how participation is defined as not only logging onto Canvas show, but also carrying out the assignment task uh, associated with the week's readings. This means that you can earn credit for participation. You must complete mini assignments that are associated with the weekly readings, and these mini assignments can be short essays demonstrating your understanding of the readings and so on and so forth. Okay, now writing emails because I not only do I teach here at Dominguez Hills, I also teach at a junior college, and I usually have between 150 or so to almost 200 students, and to keep me organized, I ask all students in every class to write their emails in a very specific way because when you're writing like in the subject, what I'm recommending is that you write the section number or the sociology course you're in as well as the section number, and then after you write that, then explain what the purpose of the email is. Okay, because the way that I have my email organized is that it'll sort out the emails and send the emails to the folders that I set up for all my classes. Okay, and that's how I go through all the emails that I receive. And just as part of professional courtesy, because not only are you acquiring a sociology degree, you're also getting exposure to this idea of professionalism. So when you write an email to a professor, one of the things that you do not do is say, "Hey, you," or "What's up." right? Where we don't have that type of relationship where we can sort of call each other by amicable names, because even though we do have a certain type of relationship, our relationship is not like that personal. It is a professional relationship. So you address the professor according to how they want to be called, right? Like either Dr. Valdivia or Professor Valdivia or Professor V, and all that. You can call me Professor Valdivia or Professor V. I'll respond to those. Okay. All right, so like that's for the emails, and then for the discussion boards, will be considered as an extension of class discussion, and the discussion board are to encourage an exchange of ideas and perspectives on understanding how crime impacts society and what the response is towards crime. A primary function of the discussion board is to aid in developing a critical perspective toward the management of criminal behavior. And this is sort of what I mentioned earlier, where as I read newspapers and news magazines, if I find an article that pertains to the theme of the class, I'll use this as the object of study for the discussion board. And I will provide the instructions and the details on how you are going to go about doing that particular discussion board. Okay. And then the video critique are to assist you with identifying important elements for an analysis and critique. You will be expected, sorry for that typo, to use concepts or arguments to aid in the process of developing a sociological explanation of society and crime. This would entail paying attention to concept construction by the various course readings, theoretical approaches to understanding crime, and the integrating your understanding with that of the course readings. So the way that you can envision the video critiques is that I'm going to provide the video on Canvas, and that is sort of, you can think of it as an ethnography. And then as you're watching the contents of the video, you're going to take notes of what you think are the important elements associated with that video. And then you're going to take that video, sorry, the observations that you made off that video, and then you're going to write a response or a critique or analysis of the content. Right. And this is sort of a way of encouraging you on how to develop and how to demonstrate the applicability of concept construction and the ability to use concepts in an analysis. All right. And again, I will provide an example on how to go about doing that. Okay. Excuse me. So written assignments will consist of assisting you in organizing your research project for the course. The instructor of record would upload onto Canvas to aid you with building your research project. The written assignments will assist you with each step of the research. All assignments must be written in essay format, other than directed by the instructor of record. No paper will be accepted if it doesn't follow the specified formatting. The essay is structured and follows basic format: 1-inch margins, 12-point font, double space, which is just typical of pretty much every essay you've ever written at the university. And then finally, the professor of record will provide the pagination for the written assignments, meaning how long the pages will be. And I will encourage you to visit Purdue OWL to use proper citation format. And I will provide you with the link of how to get to Purdue OWL on the various assignments that we assign to you. And then research is pretty much what I mentioned earlier. This project intends to expose you to some of the ethical and methodological issues sociologists must make when doing or conducting research. As a class, you will decide if your research will be qualitatively or quantitatively based. By the middle of the semester, we'll discuss selecting which method you will use for the project. Throughout the course, whichever method you decide, you will discuss your experiences, such as successes or difficulties you may have faced while conducting your study, and talk about them during class time. Over the semester, we will discuss research projects collectively and individually. All right, and then readings. It's expected, as every other professor that you've ever taken here or any other institution that you attended, that you are to come to class at least having skimmed the readings to have a general or basic idea of what the professor or I'm talking about during our class meetings. All right, or at least the videos and the write ups that I post on campus. Okay. And then, and because we do have an exam, this is what I wrote. All examinations were taken in class assigned day, or I should have put also on online. I'll correct that typo, students. So in order to make up the midterm, you have to have documentation. You know, right? If you went to the doctor, make sure you get a doctor's note. Or, for example, let's say the electricity went out, then you should be able to get documentation from the electric company explaining that your house or your apartment or wherever you live was impacted by the blackout. All right, and then once it's corroborated, I will be able to or schedule a makeup midterm for you. Okay, and whatnot. Okay, so I'm gonna stop it here, and I'm gonna go now to the bottom of the syllabus.